Hey, what's going on, creators? You already know who it is. Thank you so much for taking some time and tapping in with me today for another tip talk where we dive into some real issues, share some information with the hopes of widening your perspective and also uplifting the community. Of course, I'm always thinking about musicians and creatives and artists because that's what I am and that's what everything around me is built for. But I think a lot of the things that we talk about is applicable to any part of life. So no matter what you do, as long as you can take something from it, that means I'm doing something right, and I'm good with that. So here we go. So today, we're just going to talk really quick about constructive criticism, giving and receiving it, and also accountability. Very, very touchy subjects when you get down into creatives and what they've done and put their heart into. However, it's a very, very vital aspect of what we do and how we're going to grow. So let's get into it. So did you know that not everybody that has a note about your performance or your abilities or your craft is trying to harm you? Did you know that? Like, did you knew that? I'm glad that you knew that, because not a lot of people know that. Some people just feel like if you don't like one thing that I'm doing, then you don't like anything that I'm doing. And since I feel like you don't like anything that I'm doing, then you're my enemy. And now I got to tell everybody how you don't support and you're trying to keep me down and you just hating and all this, then the third. Listen, folks, that's a cynical mindset that is going to hinder your growth in any industry, actually. If you cannot take direction or correction, or even just notes and suggestions from the people that are your audience or the people that are your supporters, then you're not going to go far. You're going to be stuck in the same ruts, doing the same things over and over again. It's important that we understand perspective. So if we look at what constructive criticism is, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still a note. It's still a thought. It's still a suggestion about something that you've probably put your entire life into. And so it's it's important to understand that it takes courage, one, for somebody to approach you with this type of note, with this type of suggestion, because it's not taken lightly that this is your passion. It's not taken lightly at all, which is why if I see the potential in you and I see that you can grow and I see a way that I can tell you, hey, do this differently, because if you do this differently than what you're doing now, you'll get this outcome. Those types of things are important if you're trying to grow and expand your audience, right? So what is constructive criticism? By definition, it is clear, direct, honest, information that is easy to implement, actionable suggestions for specific things. You're probably saying, of course, Tip, if anybody come at me like that with that type of information that I can use like that, of course I'm going to take it. I'll be crazy not to. And you absolutely would be crazy not to. But unfortunately, that's just not the way in which this thing works, right? In everybody's mind. Because again, this is something that you've put your heart into. Like this is you, right? This is your passion. So it is important that if I do approach you, I do get that courage to say, hey, man, let me talk to you after the show. I need to come at you direct and honest and make it clear as possible so that you understand that this is nothing personal. I'm absolutely being objective, but I just want to help you elevate and grow and do better. So if I meet you after your show and I say, hey, man, enjoyed the show, just want to say next time, this is a small venue, small setting. The audience is right there on you. You have this huge touring drum kit and it's absolutely overpowering everything. If you minimize your drum kit, sir, man, everybody can have a good time and we don't have to worry about the sound being too much and you getting frustrated, right? So imagine me taking that same issue, trying to address that same issue with you after your show and not being as clear, direct, and honest with you. And it sounds like, hey, man, so loved your set. Your show was great. The drum set is absolutely huge and immaculate. And we could definitely hear you. If we heard nothing else, we definitely heard you and all 27 of your cymbals, man. So I just maybe cut it down a little bit. Maybe do 10 cymbals next time, or 1 or 2. That's fine. Just maybe switch it up so that the sound can be better and everybody can enjoy, because you were a little loud sometimes, and it's I just think that I think it'll be better if you weren't as loud. Would you take that? Would you take that as constructive criticism? Maybe, maybe not. Because don't get me wrong, there are some artists and creatives out here that are integral in their craft enough to take any and all negative comments and find the constructive aspect in it so that they can always elevate and provide a better experience for the next show. Those are far and few between sometimes, because not everybody is like that, but those artists will always continue to soar, always continue to excel, because they won't limit themselves to just their own thinking and perspective. And that's what you have to understand with constructive criticism, understanding that it's not an attack. This is just to help you grow. That's all that information is. So what happens when you do deliver and you have those elements of constructive criticism and you did it right, you had the confidence, and they're still not hearing you? So let's talk about accountability on the receiving end. Listen, we all know somebody, you might know 5 or 6, I know too many to count, that as soon as they fail, drop the ball, forget something, didn't show up, came late, always got some type of excuse and pointing the finger everywhere but here, right? So the biggest issue in that, you're not ever gonna go nowhere, right? Nobody's ever gonna want to deal with you, because as soon as something happens to the group, you want to place the blame on one individual person. But you have to understand responsibility and accountability. People use them for like interchangeably sometimes, but no, responsibility. You're responsible for what you bring to the table, what your role is in that group, doing your job. Accountability is the result of all of that, the result of everybody doing whatever they're doing in their role, right? It doesn't matter if you were perfect. If your group bombed the show, you bombed the show. Because nobody remembers the perfect piece to a failed situation, right? Nobody is going to remember the perfect pitch when the choir sucks, right? Nobody hears the good notes because the bad notes are overpowering that. So when you're in a group, man, hey, one band, one sound. I don't care if it's a thing at work, a project at school, or a show, whether you are a musician. Listen, if you have linked up as a unit, the result of that unit, you have to take ownership. If you do a group project, everybody gets the same grade, no matter who did what, no matter what responsibilities were dropped or failed, everybody gets the same grade. So it's the same situation in any type of creative or any type of industry, actually. Ownership of the result is vitally important, because without that, you'll be stuck doing the same things that you've been doing that's clearly not working all the time. Think about it. So, of course, we talked about delivering and receiving constructive criticism, always looking for those elements that takes criticism from just being hating and bashing to something constructive that somebody can use to make themselves better. Clear, honest, direct, easy to implement, and actionable suggestions. You have to understand that that is what you have to deliver. Also, when you're going to somebody about this situation, understand that they may have put time and effort into this situation. So don't take that lightly. Check your approach, check your body language. Make sure that your body is communicating the same thing that your mouth is, because the body's going to be heard more. I promise you that. And then also being accountable for the result, whether it's good or bad, taking that accountability and using it to motivate you to do better the next time, propel you forward so that you can always elevate and get better and better and mastering your craft. Listen, I definitely appreciate you taking some time out your day to hang out with me for another tip talk. I do hope that I was able to say something to benefit you, to help you grow, elevate your game, whatever the situation is. I don't care if I never see you a day of my life or if you're one of my closest friends. All I want to know is that everybody is succeeding, because we all have dreams. And if your dreams can come true, my dreams can come true, and everybody's dreams that I know can come true. Till next time, guys, all love.